Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for our virtual information session with Bucknell University. We are here with Lauren, and I did want to remind all of our participants that we are recording the session, so please remain yourself on mute. And you can use the chat box feature to be able to send questions throughout the presentation, and we will have a Q&A session at the end. So without further ado, I will now turn it over to Ms. Lauren Rambo with Bucknell University.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you all for being here today. My name is Lauren. I am a representative from Bucknell. This is my 8th year working with them, but I also went to Bucknell. So even though it's been a while now, I still very much remember starting my college search, pulling out different magazines and books and websites and trying to figure out what all of this meant. I also remember going to my first one of these kinds of events and having no idea what to ask or what to expect. So I'm going to share a little bit about Bucknell and what it's like to be a student there, some of the things that we offer, and really encourage you to ask any questions you have about Bucknell, the college search process, things that we might offer, things that you're interested in. Throw those into the chat box, and I will definitely try to get to as many questions as I possibly can throughout our time together. So again, thank you so much for being here. Let's get started and learn a little bit more about Bucknell. So we are located in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania. It's about a 7-hour drive from Durham. You would also have the option of flying. Charlotte's probably your best bet. You would definitely have a layover in the Charlotte airport if you were to fly up to central Pennsylvania. We're located in a small town in a more rural setting, and I'll talk more about the town and how that all connects with our students throughout the presentation. We have under 4,000 students, or about 3,700. 9-to-1 student to faculty ratio. All of your classes are taught by professors. Average class size is 20. And what that means is that our students are really getting a chance to follow their dreams, follow their ambitions, and have faculty as partners through that process. Class sizes are small, so you get to engage and ask questions. And what I find time after time as I talk to students about what do you like about your classes, what are your professors like, the answers always revolve around all the hands-on learning that they get to do. So maybe it's in a cognitive psychology class where they're learning about how do we learn. Professor Myers brings in his own dogs and also dogs from the community for students to see the learning process happening. They get to try experiments and try things on their own. Within our theater department, if they have a different way they want to pursue a character or a new choreography that they want to try, they're jumping in and doing that and able to collaborate with each other and their faculty. Professor Hutchinson, who's one of my favorite faculty members on campus, said to me in the tech side of theater, when he has a student say, you know, I really want to try something, he always lets them, even if he knows because of all his years of experience that there's no way that's going to work, because you learn so much more by doing it yourself. So our faculty really take the time to make sure they tie in hands-on learning opportunities for all of our students. Get out of the classroom, go and try it yourself. So Bucknell is made up of 3 colleges. We have our College of Arts and Sciences. That's the largest of the 3. All students will take classes across arts and sciences, arts and humanities, social sciences, natural sciences and math, lab sciences. There's a little bit of everything happening in there. So our students get a really well-rounded education. We also have our College of Engineering. We have 8 different disciplines within engineering. From day one, they're balancing theoretical and practical. In your very first class, you're learning about all 8 majors, picking your top 3, doing a project that that type of engineer would do, and then you're declaring at the end of your first semester and moving through your coursework with that balance between in classroom, in lab, and in real life too. We also have a College of Management, the Freeman College of Management. It has a business school accreditation, which we're really proud of. Only 5% of programs are able to achieve that. It's very stringent on what the rules are. And our students are finding a lot of success after they graduate. You're able to get an accounting degree and the credits required to sit for the CPA exam within 4 years. Students in our finance program are meeting with business executives, getting to travel to New York, getting a chance to meet Bucknell alumni. As part of the introductory course for management, students are put into companies and told to come up with a product to sell to Bucknell students and then given money to do it. Any profit they make has to go towards a service project where they're not only providing an opportunity and a service, but they have to do something with the money. They can't just donate it. So one of my favorite examples was a group that made a Bucknell t-shirt. It had all of the different kind of famous places in downtown Lewisburg, all the students' favorite places, cartooned onto the back and had the Lewisburg light posts. And any money that they made was going towards a food bank. But they were working with the food bank in the area to help develop a new physical storage system and also electronic storage system so they could better track data and what they were giving out, what they needed, just to have a better resources and easier resources for folks in the community. So the students were going into volunteer weekly to understand the structure, to see it for themselves, and they got both the for-profit and the not-for-profit in one semester. But our students aren't in class all the time. In fact, they're spending most of their time not in a classroom. Most of our students live on campus. Housing's guaranteed all 4 years. And even though we're located in a small town and not in a big city, we're bringing everything to you. We're bringing speakers and concerts and comedians, 27 Division I sports, so you get that big sports excitement and experience, but it's people you actually know on the teams. When our basketball teams have made it to the NCAA tournaments, I love getting to watch students who I see in the hallways on national television. 2 years ago, our men's team was in the tournament and had to play Michigan State, which didn't go great for us. But as I was sitting there watching it in the admissions office with my colleagues and students who had stayed over spring break, one of our tour guides turned to me and he said, you know, I'm so sad that we lost, but I am so excited that my friends are coming back when spring break is over. And it was just a good reminder of how integrated all of our students are across the campus community. Over 200 clubs and organizations, Greek life starting sophomore year, club sports and intramural sports, opportunities within the arts, whether you're a major or not, to participate in theater and dance, visual arts, performing arts, music ensembles, etc. And our students have a lot to say in what we bring to campus too. You're the ones engaging it. You should get a chance to choose who comes. We also have a lot of opportunities for students off campus. Service is really important to our student community. The majority of students will participate in service locally, nationally, or internationally at some point during their time. And it's usually an extended amount of time as well. And then half of our students will study abroad. So it's really common within our culture for students to want that opportunity to go somewhere else for at least a semester, sometimes up to a year, usually during junior year. You also have the opportunity sometimes in sophomore year, and then early on in senior year as well. And then we have summer programs too. We want to make sure that if students want to study abroad, that they can. And all this is happening within Lewisburg. I love this little town. I actually live in Florida now. I'm our Southeast regional rep. So I live in the Southeast, but was on campus for 6 years in addition to having been a student there, and just got to see Lewisburg grow and all these new restaurants and shops and all different kinds of cuisines in a place where people know your name and you'll run into people again. When I was a student, I volunteered actually at the same food bank that the management group donated their time to. And I went enough times that when I saw one of the organizers at a basketball game, she stopped me and she said, "I know you. Where do I know you from?" You get to build relationships off campus as well. You'll get to see familiar faces. You'll run into your faculty members with their kids and with their families, and they'll stop and talk to you. You'll meet with groups of students in the park or at Amami, which is the favorite coffee shop of faculty, staff, and students alike in downtown Lewisburg. And it's an easy walk. Market Street is the main street. It's very residential, very walkable. From Market Street to the admissions office, it's about a 12-minute walk. Now I am a fast walker, so I would say anywhere from 12 to 15, 20 minutes, depending on your speed and how determined you are to get down to Market Street. I also like pointing out the small child in this collection of photos. Obviously, this is not a Bucknell student. We don't start recruiting that young, but this student is at the Lewisburg Children's Museum. So the Lewisburg High School moved. They got a brand new building, but the old building stayed on Market Street. And rather than tear it down, the community decided to parcel it out. So part of it became this children's museum where over 300 of our students helped to build it, from the engineering side, from the psychological side, from the educational side, and just students who wanted to help. So again, additional ways that you get to get out of the classroom and do what you're learning in real time and as part of your learning experience. Within 9 months of graduation, our students are finding their next steps. 96% of students are placed within 9 months of graduating. Most are going, staying on the East Coast, but we're seeing a wide variety of places where students go. This past year, Boston was really popular for students to be moving to, but we have strong alumni bases out in California, in Chicago, in Charlotte, in Atlanta, some in Raleigh as well. So we've got a pretty wide community, and our alumni are really involved in the process of helping current students find internships, find jobs. They want to help you on that next step, and it's something that I think is special to Bucknell. No matter how long it's been since you've been to campus or since you graduated, you meet another Bucknellian and you want to get to know them. You want to help them. You want to find out what their story is. There's an instant connection. The number of times I've been stopped in the most random of places because I have a Bucknell t-shirt or hat or, you know, my Bucknell name tag or bag amazes me still, even after all this time. I could spend a very long time talking about all of those random encounters, but my favorite was I was with a friend in Harrisburg, PA. We were running a 5K, and we both had Bucknell t-shirts on because we went there. And as you'll leave college with a lot of college gear, and as I crossed the finish line, I heard somebody yell out "Ray Bucknell," which is our cheer that we do at basketball games, football games, etc. And I almost tripped crossing the finish line because I tried to turn around so fast to find out who that person was. We found him after the race. He and his wife had graduated 10, 15 years before we did, and we chatted for about 15 minutes before going our separate ways. And it was just a neat feeling that no matter where you go, you're going to continue having that community feel beyond just your 4 years on campus. If you choose to apply, we accept both the Common App and the Coalition app. Most of our applicants use the Common App. It's an application that pulls together a lot of information about you and will go to hundreds of different colleges that you might be interested in. We are looking at all parts of the application. This was Bucknell's first year being test optional. So we are on a 6-year pilot of being test optional. After 4 years, we'll collect data, but continue on for at least another year since we'll have already recruited that class under the test optional policy. So when I say test optional, I really mean optional. If you like your test scores and you're proud of them, send them along, include them in your application. If thinking about standardized tests and your test scores make you nervous, you don't have to send them. The exceptions to that for us are if you're a recruited athlete, although that will likely change juniors for your process because of NCAA changes given everything that's going on. If you're an international student, we do ask for standardized test scores. And if you're homeschooled, we also ask for standardized test scores. Again, it's likely that those things will change juniors for your application process, knowing that a number of the SAT and ACT exams have been canceled. So please know that we're keeping up with that information too, and want to make sure that we make your process as flexible as possible. I would say for us, the most important part of the application is your transcript. We're looking at grade trend over 3 whole years and into your 4th year. That includes grades, but also course selection. Are you challenging yourself within what your school has to offer? We're also looking at teacher recommendations. We only require 1, but I would say most of our applicants send 1 to 3, 2 being the most common. And we're looking for someone who can tell us a story about you. What do you like? Who are you going to be in the classroom? What you're involved in, what's important to you, is what's important to us as we get to know you throughout your application. Bucknell students are ambitious and competitive with themselves. They want to succeed, they're used to doing well, but they're collaborative and supportive with their peers. They will stop as they're walking to ask you how your project is going. They'll run from activity to activity to get to learn more about their whole college experience. Finally, financial aid and scholarships. About 60% of our students receive aid of some form. Most of our financial aid is need-based, and we use the CSS profile, the College Scholarship Service, for that. That's available through College Board. The difference between that and the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid, is that there is a fee for the CSS profile, and it's more detailed. If you qualify for fee waivers for any of your standardized tests, you also will receive them for the CSS profile. And on top of that, we offer merit scholarships that range from $2,500 to $30,000. And those have a separate application. So you apply for merit scholarships at the same time that you're applying to Bucknell. So either November 15th for early decision 1, January 15th for early decision 2, or also January 15th for regular decision. And that's when your merit scholarship applications are due as well. Most of the merit scholarship applications, actually all of them, it's 1 or 2 short essay questions that you answer. Doesn't matter if you submitted a test score or not, anyone who applies will be considered for those merit scholarships. And you find out when you're admitted what your whole financial aid package would look like. When I think about a Bucknell student, I really think about my intern from a year ago the most. She was a biology and theater double major on the pre-med track who studied abroad in Italy, was involved with research with the local hospital and their autism center, was in a sorority, was a tour guide, and graduated in 4 years. She did a lot. She had a very organized life. But what I love about Bucknell is that it's really a place where we want you to get the most out of your 4 years. If you have a combination of interests that on paper might seem strange, we want to help you achieve that. When students ask their faculty or advisors, can I do this? The answer is, let's figure it out. We want you to get as much as possible out of those 4 years in whatever form that looks like to you, to make sure that you're leaving the most well-rounded and fully formed person you can be at that time. And we're always here as a resource to you beyond your 4 years. Okay, that's it for the formal presentation part. I see there's some things in the chat, so I'm going to answer those. Is on-campus housing available for all 4 years of study? Yes, housing is guaranteed all 4 years. It's about 92% of our students live on campus. Those who are off are typically seniors, and they live between campus and Market Street, which again is only about a half mile. So even then, they're very close by. Our students move through a process their first year where they are in a traditional residence hall room. They'll share the room with another student. You get a bed, a desk, chair, dresser, and closet, shared bathrooms on the hall. And then after your first year, You can live in that same kind of housing. There's also affinity housing. So if you have a group of students who have a similar interest, there's always one on languages. There's an arts affinity house. So those are some examples. There's been a political science one in the past, international studies, those kinds of things. You can live in a Bucknell house with those other students. Starting sophomore year is when students can join Greek life, and some will move into their Greek housing, but not all. And then junior and senior year, you have access to apartment style housing. There's another question about, are we able to accommodate special diets? Gluten-free, vegan, vegetarian, absolutely. Our dining services are incredibly accommodating. They're very aware of different allergens, how they can be the most allergen safe for people. Everything's labeled very well. There are vegan options, vegetarian. There's a kosher dining hall as well, a kosher kitchen within our Jewish Life Center. There's a lot of options for students. And through our Office of Accessibility Resources, if you have a dietary concern, let's say a severe allergy, or just aren't sure how to make sure everything is going to work for you to make sure that your dietary needs are met, you can work through one centralized office. So they mostly deal with allergy issues. If a classroom needs to be labeled as peanut-free, for example, they'll work closely with faculty to help accommodate that as well. But in terms of gluten-free or vegan or vegetarian, our dining services are awesome at working and accommodating students. Okay, next question is, will the school accept self-reported test scores? Absolutely. That's been our policy for a couple of years now and will continue. We just ask that when you enroll, that is when we would need official test scores, but for the application process, absolutely, we accept self-reported test scores. Let's see, what's next? Okay, about how many applications does Bucknell receive a year? What is your out-of-state percentage and student demographic breakdown? So we receive just under 10,000 or just around 10,000 applications a year for ultimately a class of 990. We have about a 35% acceptance rate. About 30 to 40% of our class will come from early decision 1 and 2 combined, and then the rest of our class comes in through regular decision. Most of our students are from out of state. It's about 20% are from Pennsylvania. The large majority of our students and our applicants, I will say, come from Boston to DC. And then California is also highly represented, but it's a big state, does that make sense? Within the Southeast, I would say North Carolina and Florida are where we get the most students from. Why did you decide to go to Bucknell, and why would it be a good place for a student from Durham to go? So when I was looking at colleges, I'm a list person. I knew what I wanted when I pictured college, or I thought I knew what I wanted. I knew I wanted to major in psychology, but that didn't help me narrow it down because most places offer psychology. I knew I didn't do well in big classes. I needed things that were more interactive and hands-on, so I was looking for a smaller environment. I wanted to study abroad. I wanted to be involved in clubs. I just wanted to do when I was in college. And so the more I learned about Bucknell, the info sessions that I attended, the website that I looked at, I got to go on a tour. They kept talking about all these things I wanted to experience before I even had the chance to ask about it. And it wasn't in a way of, I'm going to tell you what you want to hear. It was just this is how it is here. This is what our students do. This is what they accomplish. We hope you want to do that too. So for me, it was the perfect blend of excellent academics with opportunities to try and to do and to really get to know your teachers. I had some really great teachers in high school that I connected with, and I wanted that again when I got to college. So there was that advising and mentoring culture around the academics. And then there was also the chance to be more than just a number, to be more than just one thing on a campus, to go and to try new clubs and to figure out what your best fit was going to be. So for me, the fact that I was going to get to combine all of the things I loved great classes, interesting classes, different classes, and the opportunity to join clubs and make a difference and be engaged in my community were really important. I think it's also important to know that there were a number of places where I could have done all of that. So I think a lot of college is what you put into it. The energy that you put into a place is the experience that you're going to get back. So once I got to college and once I got through some of the awkwardness of orientation, I dove right in and I started trying things and really putting effort into it. So I would encourage that for you all, to be looking at places that you are excited about the possibility of, and then wherever you end up, to really jump in with both feet. And why would it be a good place for a student from Durham to go to? You know, it's a different environment, it's a different network that you can connect with. There's different industries that are closer to campus, different alumni, maybe people who are from the Carolinas who have moved elsewhere. So there's other people and other things to connect with. I think if you're looking for a real campus feel in a small knit community with big school resources, we're a really great option for you to look at. So I know going further from home can be daunting and comes with its own challenges, but I would just encourage you to give it a shot. See what else is out there, see what other communities exist, and go experience another region before you come home. Are there any programs to help students who have not decided on a career path? Absolutely. So when you step foot onto campus, actually the summer before you come to campus, regardless of if you know what you want to major in or not, you'll be assigned a summer advisor, someone to walk you through your first course selection. You're going from high school where your options are kind of limited to college where we have over 50 majors and 65 minors. So there are tons of options to pick from, right? Where do you even start? So you have an advisor to help you with that process. And then we have a core curriculum that's set up to help students get that well-rounded liberal arts experience, but to also start narrowing down what's of interest to them. So we'll ask you to take some social science, some arts or humanities, some natural science and math, a couple of writing intensive courses, some thematic things like diversity in the US, one on the environment, integrated perspectives. So two faculty from very different disciplines teach together on the same subject. So that will help students start to narrow down, I really like this type of learning, I don't like this, I liked this subject, I didn't like this. In addition, our Center for Career Advancement sets out help really for students all along the way. So they have a first year newsletter and seminars and sessions to help students figure out what are your priorities, what's of interest to you, what's important to you, what do you like? What do you think you want to do? What does your personality say? So between your first year advisor who stays with you until you declare a major, which then you're assigned somebody within the department that you're majoring in, and the Career Development Center, there really is a nice safety net to help students start to narrow down what they think they want to major in. And then from there, our faculty within departments do a really great job of bringing in industry to their classes, talking about internship opportunities. Because classes are smaller, it's possible for a faculty member to say to you specifically, hey, I got this internship notice that came across my desk, you would be great for it. You should apply to it. This fits what you are interested in. And we also have the Bridge, which is a job and internship search portal just for our students. So alumni and companies who have hired Bucknellians in the past can send job opportunities directly to our Center for Career Advancement, and they can put it out to campus. On top of that, we also have an externship program for sophomore students. So over winter break, you're able to do a 1 to 3 week job shadowing experience, and it's right around the time that you're deciding what you're going to major in. So it's the perfect time for you to get that opportunity to try it for yourself and then maybe reshift focus or keep moving forward with that particular industry. Most of our students will have an internship at some point. And like I said, there's a pretty high job placement rate for students as well. So we're really helping guide you towards whatever is going to be next for you. Okay, can you repeat your most popular majors or any unique majors? Absolutely. So within our College of Arts and Sciences, the most popular are biology, psychology, and economics. I think those are pretty popular across colleges. Those are our largest departments. Within engineering, it's mechanical and biomedical. And then within College of Management, it would be finance, would be the most popular. We have a really cool major called Markets, Innovations, and Design, MIDI for short, on our campus, and that's within management. What's neat about that course is it's kind of marketing, but it's also kind of entrepreneurship, but it's also kind of design, and it depends on what part of that process is most interesting to you. It also challenges students to go outside of their management courses and find something else that they want to tie in. So what other program that we offer fits in with your marketing? So for example, we had a student in MIDI who tied in data science. So he was taking additional math classes. Or another one who was really interested in the marketing side, and she added psychology and art classes to hers. So you get to design part of your major, which I think is really cool. This year we added Arabic studies as a major. We've had it as a language offering, but it expanded to a major. I think that's pretty awesome. And then for where we're located, we have a geophysics major, which is really cool in the area where we're located. Lots of different geological resources. We've got the mountains, we've got a major river system, old coal mining regions as well are nearby. So some pretty cool geodiversity for students to experience. Can you talk about Bucknell and how it makes itself accessible to first generation or underrepresented students? So one of my favorite facts is that our current president is a first generation to college student. And so that has been something that's been really important for him to make known. Our associate provost is also first generation to college, a number of faculty. So we participate in a number of mentoring programs specifically for first generation to college students to match you with a faculty or staff member or administrator who is also first gen to help with the process and how do I do this and what do I need to do? Who do I ask? So setting you up with that mentor from the very beginning. For underrepresented students, we have a number of different resources across campus between our multicultural student services, international student services, Women's Resource Center, LGBTQ office, religious life, and chaplains who are employed by the university. There's different events that happen throughout the year. Again, more mentoring programs, having those diversity in the US requirements within the curriculum, a number of student organizations as well. For example, our Black Student Union is super engaged and involved and visible and active across campus. So there's a lot of mentoring that happens within our offices and across campus. Bucknell wants to be a diverse place. At this time, we are primarily white, but we've been working really hard to increase the diversity of our students, our faculty, and our staff all together, making sure that we're not just bringing students to campus, we're bringing students and having resources where all students can thrive across our campus community. Do you have to specify a major on your application, and is applying as an engineering major more competitive? Great question. So we do ask that students apply at least to one of the three colleges, so arts and sciences, engineering, or management. You can be undecided in all three. So if you're leaning management, but you're not quite sure what, you can be undecided. Same with engineering. And then if you have no idea what you want to major in, you're in very good company. Undecided arts and sciences provide you with the most options. It's important to know that for Bucknell, you can't switch to management later. It's a first year only admissions process. There is a minor that's available to all students regardless of major. Actually, there's 2 minors. So that's an option for you as well. In terms of competitiveness, engineering and management are more competitive than arts and sciences, but they're also smaller. So engineering is about 20% of our students, management's about 15% of our students, and then the rest are in arts and sciences. So there's more flexibility within arts and sciences than within engineering or management. Applying engineering can be more competitive, particularly mechanical and biomedical engineering. Biomedical is our most popular, but also our smallest. And that's on purpose so that they can get into hospitals a lot more easily as part of their educational process. So something to keep in mind. What is helpful in the admissions process for us when we're reading your application is when we ask you to apply to that particular program or major, we ask why. So I would challenge you, if you think you know what you want to major in, or you're sure you know what you want to major in, to sit down and reflect on why, be able to give specific reasons and examples and experiences that you've had. It could just be from a class, a conversation you've had with someone you know, whatever it might be. Really, can you explain the process of where that interest came from and what you hope to do with it? That can really be a difference maker in evaluating an application. Of the 3, management is the most competitive, and again, being able to say why is really important. Too often I see reasons really specifically in management of, well, a parent works in business, or I want to work for a business. That's a great start to where your interest is coming from, but let's take it a step further and tell me where that interest really came from. And if you're not sure where it came from, at least what do you want to do with it? Taking that time to do some of that reflection is really helpful. Any other questions? I'll give you all a second to pop those into the chat if there are. And in the meantime, I'll just say, I'm here as a resource for you. Please feel free to ask for my contact information and for it to be shared. You can also find me on the Bucknell website. Even if Bucknell ends up not being a place for you, please know that I'm here as a resource to answer your questions and to connect you with more opportunities. If you would like to learn even more about Bucknell beyond this session, we're offering daily virtual info sessions, daily previews, and then starting on Tuesday evening, next Tuesday evening, the 12th, we'll be offering ambassador chats, so you can have a session kind of like this with some current students, where there's no presentation part, it's all the Q&A portion. So we're really excited about that opportunity. And then to also stay tuned to other options that we're developing throughout the summer. I anticipate a lot of these virtual options will be here to stay as well, because we know that it can be hard to visit campus sometimes, and we just want to make sure that students have the opportunity. So I'm going to pull up first the link for if you would like to request more information about Bucknell, and I'm going to put that in the chat first. So that's if you would like to request more information. And then I'm also going to put a link in there that is our visit page that has our current visit options, and will also be updated as more things get developed throughout this time. Institutions are creating and offering virtual options every day at this point, and developing new things. So you still have a really cool opportunity to research and get to know institutions, even if you're not able to visit at this time. And then hopefully we'll be able to let you know once we know more about when you can do on-campus visits again. That is all for me. Thank you all so much for your time, and I look forward to connecting with you later.
Thank you so much, Lauren. I just wanted to thank you as well for taking the time to be here with us today. I wanted to remind our participants they can fill out a survey for a chance to be entered into a $20 Amazon gift card raffle for each session that you attend. So make sure you fill out that survey for every session. And I'm dropping the link now. And we will definitely stay in touch, Lauren. And so if any participants or any students have any questions, we will definitely connect them with you. And we really thank you for your time and hope you have an awesome rest of your year at this academic year, and stay safe with your family.
Thank you. You all as well.
Thank you.